lose your love tonight.
I've been slowly falling. It's become gradually less and less acceptable to like hang out with other people. I did hang out with your brother and his condo like neighbor.
But you
Zach,
guys,
the other night.
you guys were in like the parking lot. I know you went up to his balcony at one point, but like,
and then into his
not
living room.
not to Alex's though.
We didn't go to Alex's.
Yeah, he kept his place quarantined. You and Alex kept your places
Yeah,
quarantined.
his place is fucking. There's something going on there. But it was a good time, dude. It was like I think this week. It's weird how much it sets in because okay, so my dad, when the lockdown first happened, which was last Monday, which we fucking predicted. Not saying nobody else would have seen that coming, but you fucking didn't. We fucking called that shit.
Yeah, we called that shit.
Larry Hogan watched our podcast and was like, "Damn, that's a good ass idea. These guys are really onto something." But when that first happened,
Taking a sip of Corona Light, keeping it at bay.
yeah. I'm sorry, dude. I completely forgot where the fuck I was going with that.
Oh, we just called it. We called that.
Oh
shit.
yeah, we called it.
that shit, dude. Sorry, but we called it. Hey, our bad that we're so fucking smart.
Yeah. And my dad called me up shortly after that and was like, Jim, you should really look into doing organizing some type of like live stream event or something like that. And at first I had the idea kind of in my head, but at the same time, it didn't really, I was like, whatever. But now it's like, dude, everybody's doing like virtual happy hours and shit, which I still think is fucking lame, dude. I still think that's fucking lame. It's like, dude, what am I going to Skype you?
I've seen like a couple virtual open mics, and that's,
What is that? That's just...
It's not right.
It's not right, and
I'll tell you that.
In fact, it's
not
wrong.
right.
I'll even
It's
go
not
out on a limb and
right.
say it's fucking wrong. Like I'll say from the musician side of things, a lot of the musicians.
I think for music, it might make sense because you can, like you've said many times on the podcast, when you're playing at a show, it's the complete opposite of a comedy show. It could be no one paying attention, and you're there for 4 hours just playing like you're a fucking Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah.
So I think music live streams in my head makes sense because it's like, all right, it's like I'm turning on Pandora or some shit. Like I'm just like turning on the radio and listening to shit, except it's live.
But I'll tell you what I don't.
Live streaming open mic comedy though,
Live streaming open mic comedy just doesn't work. That doesn't make sense to me.
there's
It's like
no
you're
audience.
you're
Like,
just
there's
fucking talking to your camera.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and I don't want to bash it too much because it's like, maybe they'll figure out a way to make it work. But for right now, there's definitely some growing pains with that.
Yeah, but it's amazing to me how quickly it's setting in. Like I'll say this, and it's something that like has become a big thing within the musician community, my friends and stuff like that. They started like this Facebook group, and now they're doing like virtual like concerts kind of. And so like everybody like signs up on this public Google Calendar and like lines up a date, and then you play and you like post your Venmo and people like tip you and shit like that. I haven't done anything like that, and I don't think I plan on doing anything like that because it just there's something about it that just seems like charity to me. Like I don't like the idea because there just seems like I was talking about this with Alex the other night when we were hanging out, but it's like hard for me to bring myself to like. Okay, I always kind of feel lucky that I get to do what I do for a living, which is literally play music in bars and fucking pay my rent and shit like that. And that's all I have to do. And now that that has been stripped away, I don't feel entitled to making money strictly off of that anymore. I'm not going to go online and be like, hey, man, I was making a living playing guitar, and now I can't make a living playing guitar, so I'm just going to play guitar on Facebook and ask people to Venmo me. It's like, dude, I'm not doing that. Like,
I will say, there was like a Google Doc going around for like out-of-staff bartenders and like service industry people, and I was looking through it because I was like, oh, okay, that's good. Like some of the places that I go to, like some of their people went up and like, I might throw some of like, my friends some money or whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, ooh, I wonder what names I recognize on here. I was just scrolling through the list to be like, oh, shit, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that person from our high school worked there.
Yeah.
Or I didn't know that person from our high school was only doing this. Or
only doing this. And now look at you, bro. It just sits weird with me because I just don't. Because it's like, there's ways to justify it in your mind. Like, no, man, like, people, you know, like that's what you do at bars, you play, and people give you money and it's entertainment and they enjoy that. And it's like, but for me, it's like, you know, there's a certain element, whenever there's an element of charity to it, like whenever there's anything that's like somewhere lingering in like the backdrop of the situation where, you know, people are watching and be like, oh man, he's probably really struggling right now. Let me throw him a couple bucks. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I do not want to fucking ask for any favors right now. It just feels weird. And so, but then I'll say this, I was so bored last night. I was so incredibly bored last night that I saw some of these live streams happening on Facebook and I just started watching them. I was like,
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. People are bored. That's why I watched those fucking live stream open mics. I was bored as shit.
Exactly.
I was like, I'll watch this. Like,
it's like, and if I, a person who is morally opposed to this form of entertainment, am now tuning in because I'm so bored. There's a lot of people that are fucking that bored, dude.
Yeah, man.
And like, I just found myself like, it really puts things into perspective. Even when I was like sitting on the balcony the other night, just like listening to music and hanging out with my friends and just like looking around, it was like depressing to be like, damn, like this big ass city, nobody can go out. And it's like, it's such a vital part of life to just see people and socialize, and you take it for granted. And now we're in this situation where we can't do it. And it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
And now all this,
I think like Ice-T, or I think it was Ice Cube actually, he put a tweet out being like 5 days on lockdown and y'all keep saying you could do time. It's like, no, you're right, I can't. I
can't do time, bro.
But also, I don't know, there's also more like socialization in prison than some of the shit that's going on now. Like,
yeah, dude, at least
like, dude, I've just been in my apartment like doing nothing. Well, like not nothing, like I've been working like during the week, but like yesterday and today I was just doing nothing. I'm just trying to figure out like if I'm gonna do anything else money wise, or if I'm just gonna like chill at this point, you know? Like, is that, again, going back to the whole like live stream where I was talking about like, I don't want to fucking be so stubborn. Like for me, and you saw, you know, like for instance, I never fucking, thank you very much, by the way. I never fucking thought this was gonna come.
Well, no, even when I was saying in terms of like when I was younger and I would have like, that's why I never have ticketed shows.
Yeah.
I don't do that because for me it was always weird to ask people to come out and watch me if they weren't necessarily fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's almost in a way, it's like taking advantage. And I know it's not a good way of looking at it, but the way that I always have, whether for better or for worse, was that you're almost using the fact that you have people that care about you and support you to be like, hey, come out and spend X amount of dollars to watch me play, you know? And in that way, it kind of seemed like an act of charity in a way. Because it's not like you're not listening to my music when you're driving around. You're not a fan of what I'm doing. You're coming out because, oh, it's Jimmy, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's always very difficult. That's why I do things the way I do, which is, you know, I play at a bar. And if you want to come through, come through. And they're not asking me, they're not telling me I have to bring a certain amount of people. And therefore, they're basically saying, look, we're a bar, we have people in here, and we want them to be entertained. And are you up to the job? And at that point, I'm like, yeah, cool. And then they pay me, and it feels like a transaction that is that's you're doing it. You know, you're doing it for a living, which is why I'm doing it. But in terms of the whole live streaming thing, it was just like at this point, it's like I almost feel like it's me basically saying, well, I want to keep doing this for a living. I want to keep playing guitar, and now I can't play guitar at a bar, so let me stream myself and you can Venmo me. It's like, nah, dude, come on. And that might change, dude, as my perceptions change. And I will say, again, when I found myself bored as fuck on Saturday night and I found myself watching those streams, I found value in it.
Yeah.
I saw the value in it, you know? But I think it would take a lot for me to get to the point where I do something like that. I think it's much more likely that I would probably just find a new way to make money.
Bagging groceries or fucking, I don't even know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe. You might have to do it, dude, for a certain amount of time.